Here is a genuinely strange fact about how machine learning works. Word2Vec learns word embeddings, yet it never truly cares about the prediction task you actually hand it. This model, one of its two flavors, is trained to do something that sounds almost backwards. You give it a single word, and you ask it to guess the words likely to appear around it. Predict the context from the center word. Nobody genuinely wants those context predictions themselves. What we're really chasing is a hidden byproduct of learning that task. Stick with me, because the trick here is genuinely beautiful. Let's dig in. First, let's place this model against its sibling, because the contrast is the whole idea. Its sibling, called continuous bag of words, works in the intuitive direction. It takes the context words around a gap and tries to predict the missing center word. That averaging of context makes it fast and efficient, and it leans naturally toward common words, which show up often enough to be predicted well. This model flips that around. It takes a single center word as input and tries to predict each of its surrounding context words instead. It is slower, but by giving every individual word its own targeted training signals, it learns noticeably better representations for rare words and works well even on smaller datasets. So how does it actually turn text into vectors? Follow the training loop one step at a time. Slide a small window along the text, only a few words wide. Wherever it stops, the word in the middle is your center word, and the handful on either side are its context. The quick brown fox jumps gives you fox in the middle with quick, brown, and jumps around it. Feed that center word into a tiny network, really just a lookup that grabs the word's current vector. That single vector is the only thing the model gets to see. From it, and it alone, the network has to make all of its guesses about the neighborhood. Train the network to predict each surrounding context word from that center vector, nudging the weights whenever it guesses wrong. To stay fast, it uses negative sampling, quietly pulling the true context words closer while pushing a few random words away, instead of scoring the entire vocabulary. Repeat this across billions of center and context pairs, and the input vectors slowly organize themselves. Words that keep similar company drift towards similar vectors, and those learned input vectors are the embeddings. The prediction task was never the point. This geometry is the real prize. Strip it down, and 3 ideas define this model. It predicts a word's surrounding context from the center word itself. That single backwards-looking objective, guess the neighbors, is the entire training signal, and the embeddings that fall out of it are what we actually keep. It trains on billions of center and context pairs, made practical by negative sampling. Rather than scoring every word in the vocabulary at each step, it pulls true pairs together and pushes a few random ones apart. So training scales cheaply to enormous corpora. And compared to its sibling CBOW, it shines on rare words and small datasets. Because each individual word receives its own targeted updates rather than being averaged into a blur, uncommon words get far richer signal at the cost of somewhat slower training. All right, let's lock in the essentials. This model forms one half of Word2Vec, learning embeddings by training a network to predict a word's surrounding context from the center word itself. The embeddings are a byproduct. To predict context well, the network must place words used in similar contexts near each other, which is why king minus man plus woman lands near queen. It trains efficiently on billions of pairs using negative sampling, and it came from Mikolov and colleagues in 2013, launching the modern era of representation learning. Compared to CBOW, it is slower but stronger on rare words and small data. If watching a simple prediction task blossom into rich meaning excites you, Plenty more of it lives at standarity.com. Come explore with us.